What's ripening YouTube? So I'm just getting ready to go do a site visit for a client, and we're going to start laying out the first planting of this project. So we're just getting ready, and right now I'm just kind of putting together all the tools that I need. Tripod, that's a maybe, but the must is I use these stakes and these flags. You see, I've got my whites, my pinks, and my oranges. I've got a paint gun, 2 different colors of paint in case I need to delineate two different things. String lines, if I want to run string lines. In this case, we're doing a straight row, a straight perimeter of bamboo. So running strings between 2 or 3 or 4 of these stakes helps me get a straight line. Tape measure, this is a 300-foot tape. Definitely a must for getting your final dimensions put together. Of course, you got to have a cooler full of cold coconuts. I've got my level in case we want to shoot in any levels. This is a really good, I'll show you real quick. You've probably seen surveyors use this kind of thing, but this is a rolling measure, and it's not good for tight measurement, but it helps you do estimate, and you know, I call it the wheelie wand. Those are super helpful. And then the masterpiece, the last piece that's most important to this particular project, is the site plan. I'll show you real quick. I already had this one printed out yesterday, had it laminated. And so here's our project site. The original conceptual design was full color and it had more information about the site conditions. This one is a site plan for phase 1 and 2, and it's more specific to the irrigation layout, the plantings that we're doing next. And there's big empty spaces, like this area is empty in the middle. That's because we're not planting that, because they're extending their house. We're gonna redo that landscape later. There's an area down here that's empty. We just have the rows shown because we're not ready to plant that out, and we don't know exactly what species we're gonna use. You can see the ponds. There was an existing pond here. We dug much larger ponds, and we put a second pond in so that we could raise up our planting area and improve the conditions for those plants. We've got a planting scheme here. We've got a plant legend, irrigation estimate, some notes, and this is what we're gonna use to get our layout put together. So pretty much packed up, about to hit the road. I'm gonna take you guys with me. Client doesn't mind me shooting video of the project site, which is cool. So let's go check it out. Okay, now we're ready. So what you'll see here, we actually dug 2 ponds. There's one existing and one that wasn't there at all. This one was here, and we've expanded it. We probably at least quadrupled the size of it square footage wise and dug it real deep. And then here's another one we did, and we used that material to build up the whole area, because this is a low site, so you can't really tell right now, but this is actually pretty low. And so what we've done is this whole, you see all this naked sand here has all been raised up at least a foot. And then we put in these mounds. So these ridge mounds, I'll show these another time, but we're using those to give the trees our best opportunity to make it in this climate. So part of the fun of working on these big projects is you get to use all the fun tools. So this time we're actually going to be using an auger. Hey, how you doing? We're actually going to be digging holes with augers instead of shovels, which is kind of a nice way to get things done. So we're just setting this up right now, and this is about perfect. We're going to be doing 7-gallon pot size for most of the bamboo, so this will be perfect. We can just pop in these holes wherever we lay them out, and we'll be able to get it done. All right, we're loaded up. Get to drive this thing. I haven't been in one of these in a while. Sweet. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. So we're gonna set up the north property line right now. They've already got stakes in for where they want the fence to be. And in this case, we have a fence on this side of the swale, and then the bamboo's on the other side. So we actually it's not that critical exactly where it is, but we do want to line it up kind of nice. All right.
It's really airtight. Sometimes you gotta, like when you shut it, you gotta open the window.
I know.
It won't let it shut it.
That's what I was trying to do earlier.
That's our line.
This is the property line. Oh, we have to go out.
Yeah, so we'll pull the tape off that.
I have a string that may reach one distance all the way up there.
Even if it does, it'll be better to have something intermediate because it'll sag. It'll sag and touch the ground, and then.
Oh, okay. So you like to put it just above the ground. All right, cool.
I like to have it free, because if there's grass or something, it might not be that big of a deal here because it looks like you've got it kind of under control. But so this is just that conduit you can get at Home Depot.
Yeah, electrical conduit, EMT, I think it's called.
But it's nice. They make it in these 5-footers, and they make perfect like long-term stays. I think I showed you this last time I was here, didn't I?
Yeah. Do you want it right in the ditch? Where do you think the bamboo would work best?
I like the idea of putting it right at where the break is.
Okay.
Maybe just a little bit up on the break. Just give us a visual.
A visual.
From there.
This way about a foot.
A foot, okay.
Right there.
Right there, okay. But so this swale fills up, but it seems like it's draining out for you pretty nice so far.
It's pretty draining out, so yeah, pretty good.
But we'll see
I had the whole property kind of leveled and feathered out, so it goes into the ditches.
Right.
Kind of help decide that I don't have too many areas that are just selling a whole lot of water. And
you want me to leave this running, or
just leave it running?
Okay.
Right there.
There.
Good.
Yeah, it looks good from this angle too. Okay. Just double check the pull it at 20. Right there. Can you drop me off halfway and then go to the other end, and then you can stand like with your hand above the other post, and then you stay here and line us up so I can put an intermediate.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So just drop me off halfway and then keep going to the other side. All right.
Get her like that conditioned air.
I want a buggy with air conditioning. Come on.
On the tape.
We don't need the tape.
Oh,
Yeah, we're okay. This pasture's looking good.
Yeah. Coming in good.
Looks lovely. Yeah, if you can go line up, and he's gonna kind of help me. A little more. Right here. So all we're doing is just pulling the string line. Once we have our straight line, we're gonna measure 6 feet centers for the bamboo to go in, and then we'll mark them. And then over the weekend, they're gonna start augering all these holes. We've got our bamboo delivery coming on Monday morning, and we'll start popping these guys in, get them dressed out, get them mulched. Did you already move the other stake?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we're just gonna keep running with the string. Hopefully it's long enough. The property lines, it's a 5-acre parcel, so it's 660 by 330. So right now we're running the 660. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so next thing we'll do is start measuring these out. All right, I'm gonna put your end down just a little bit, so I can see. We got 6 foot, 12. All right, the flags are in every 6 feet, and we counted 107 along the north side, and then now we're going to go set up the east side. It should be about 151 final count on these two these two sides of the property. That's the order we have coming in on Monday. We're going to be using larger plants for these because we want more of an instant effect on our north and east. And then we're going to be planting smaller pots along the south and along the west, just for economy. It's not as important of a windbreak. It's still important, but it's not as critical to the project. So we're going to save a little bit of money there and use smaller plants, and we'll have those come in probably after we get these first two pieces in. Got the west side laid out right along this pond. Looking pretty nice. They just put some sod along the edges just to stabilize. They were getting some washouts from the rain. Right over there, there's a little landing. We're gonna put a little gazebo with a little dock. I'm not sure if it's gonna be fixed or floating, but some way to get out over the water. Nice little covered sitting area, and then there'll be some really nice kind of natural landscaping along the edge here. We're gonna do a little bit more landscaping on this side, on the corner. And then down here, we're gonna have a row of fruit trees using this pond as kind of a microclimate here. So we're gonna have a wall of bamboo on the one side, and then we're gonna have the main pathway, a row of trees, pond, and then we're keeping most of the tropical stuff either basically within this pond kind of microclimate area, and building up this windbreak is gonna really help keep that climate moderation effect localized instead of getting blown away. You know, the wind's blowing really hard. This helps, but it doesn't help for very long if the wind's blowing real hard. So we're going to moderate the wind using the ponds to moderate the temperature. We use the fill out of the ponds to raise up the soil, so we give ourselves a better planting situation. And all of this stuff happens before we plant. So, you know, the sexy stuff is the plants growing up and fruiting, but all this prep work, which is a big part of the investment, is what makes that stuff work. So you really have to think from the end to the beginning, and then to the beginning to the end. You kind of have to think both ways when you're doing a project like this. So it does take some planning, it does take some investment, but what's going to be here is going to be totally unique to what other people are doing around here. So it'll be pretty cool to watch this project grow up, and hopefully we'll be able to document it